now to the juicier part, and this is something that we have talked about on this very show for months since we first heard it talked about by Representative Warren Davidson out of Ohio, Republican, because if you support crypto, you just happen to be a Republican now. It just is the way it is, unfortunately, at the moment, because the other side won't get on board. But and not saying all Republicans are either by any stretch. But so Warren Davidson, representative from Ohio, as well as Mark, I always forget his name, Tom.
Tom.
Yeah, from Minnesota, who's actually the majority whip for the Republican Party right now, officially introduce what they called the SEC Stabilization Act to remove Gary Gensler. Essentially, I mean, it happens to be Gensler who is, the fall guy who's been, anemic for the last couple of years. But it's basically to just reshape the SEC, or to not have a chair of the SEC and instead just have a committee, approach, essentially. So we talked about this the other day, and again, we've talked about it on the show leading up to this. I said to you, and you agreed, like, I'm glad they've at least finally introduced this wherever it does go in Congress, because I started to get afraid that maybe it was just Davidson doing lip service to the issue or something, and maybe it would just die and go away. Because that is the fear. I mean, like, again, I'm not cozying up with the Republicans either. I mean, like, sometimes you do wonder, how serious are these guys actually taking it? Do they just want to win elections and stuff like that? Tom Emmer seems to have been beating this drum, and frankly seems extremely knowledgeable. I mean, like, I've heard him talk about crypto a number of times, and he, for a guy who's a politician, definitely seems like he knows what he's talking about, as does Davidson, especially with him now pushing this act forward. So I don't think it's just pomp and circumstance. I think that they are serious about this, even though they're in the minority probably when it comes to Congress. So what do you think, Ewok? I mean, like, we can't really predict things as far as what goes on in government, and we know that they don't really get any work done, and work very slowly to not get that work done. But what do you think ultimately happens with this? And I mean, I'm definitely happy they at least got it out there finally.
Yeah, and we'll see if it can get pushed through. I don't know how many votes they need to go through.
Yeah,
like I said, I'm not sure how that works out, but I love the idea. We've been talking about it for a while. There shouldn't be one central figure in charge of it. It's not, again, it's not an elected position. It's an appointed position. You cannot have one person, especially with the way Gensler's been. They won't provide any kind of clarity. And I think the guys are fed up with seeing that. It's making them look foolish. And that's one of the things that we can continue to do, is to show as many ways that Gensler's making them all look foolish. And the longer they keep him appointed to that position, it just looks terrible. It looks terrible for all of them. So, I really am in favor of a make the rules by committee kind of thing, so that, at least there's multiple points of input, and, not just one person making those decisions.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. I mean, like, the biggest key word you said is unelected group of people. I mean, this is not an entity that anybody has chosen or anything like that. These are just not random, but people appointed to do this.
Right.
The pathetic thing about Gensler is just all the old footage that we have of him explicitly saying stuff. I bookmarked, and I this is a sneak attack on you, Ewok, but I wanted to create a new segment this week called Broke Boys Bookmark Tweets, because I've been in the habit of doing this week. But I bookmarked this video of him speaking. I'm not sure where it was at, probably a university or something like that, because that's what he did. But Gary Gensler just explicitly saying that Bitcoin, ETH, and others are not securities.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you able to share your screen there? Or?
I don't think it's going to let me on the stream, but it's okay. But yeah, what I'll do, I'll just copy this and throw it in the chat. But I mean, he has said that before, so now there's actual video of it, and that's why we've seen it, talked about it a million times. But like, just when he was actually questioned by my God, I can't remember all these guys' names, Bowtie, a few weeks back.
I forget his name too. It doesn't matter, but
I want to say Phil something, but anyway, I mean, he wouldn't answer the question at all. He would not say whether ETH. He just directly asked, and he was literally shaking, wouldn't answer the question.
Yeah.
So
And I believe he was promoting, was it Arbitrum?
No. Older than that, Algorand.
Algorand. Yeah.
Mhm.
I knew it was an A.
Yeah.
And now that was one of the ones that was just listed, I believe,
As
or
a security, you're right.
yeah,
Or what
yeah.
they
They
speculated would be one. Yeah.
speculated as security, you know. So yeah, they're going, they're flip-flopping, just money in, again, money in the water. It's not a good look for anybody. And like I said, the more we can do is, one of the things that we can do is just show how terrible they're making the whole space look.